In this demo, I'm going to take some very standard, ordinary looking Excel data, and we're going to transform it into a much more readable, what I call BlinkTable, which looks like this, where you have powerful, easy ability to read across the page and scan down the left-hand column to see what data it is you need to find. And it uses some techniques highlighted by a guy called John Moon, who's written an excellent book on what he calls word in tables, or words in tables, and I'll put a reference to this at the end of this video. So let's look at the data that we're starting off with. It's absolutely vanilla data. I'm going to create a new sheet, which I've already done, and then I'm going to copy and paste this data. So I'm going to highlight it, right mouse click, copy. We're going to go to our blank page, and we're going to use paste special, transpose. And for those of you that have not used transpose, it's a really handy function that pivots the data around 90 degrees. So there's our donut data. Now I'm going to right align that so that we can easily see which labels are associated with which data. I'm also going to change the font to Calibri because I personally prefer it. It's a Windows standard font, so you won't have any problem sharing this, and it's a sans serif font, so it's nice and clear and easy to read. Now we're going to highlight the dates row using bold, and I'm also going to use both bold and size to emphasize the headers. There we go. Now the important thing here is to use space and visual cues to make it easy to read. Now we've still got grid lines on here. Now grid lines are great in terms of following a spreadsheet. They're less great in terms of reading tables, because these vertical lines will actually break the flow as you read across the page. So I pretty much always turn them off on my dashboard. It goes Tools, Options, Grid Lines, uncheck that box, and they're gone. Now, creating those grid lines to read across, you can see for donuts, we want all of that data to be associated with donuts. So we use this borders drop down up here, and I've selected top and bottom. There we go. And you can see its grid lines have magically appeared. We're also going to do the same with target. So you can follow either sales or target across easily. And we're starting to see that data grouped in a logical way. Now I'm going to add in Danish data. Again, using paste special, transpose. And of course, the nice thing here is you can use the formatting from above. So we're going to highlight that, and we're going to use the format painter there, and then highlight across like so. As you can see, we're gradually building up the data. One last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in sales here. We're going to make that similar to donuts, so use a format painter. We may actually left align that, left align sales to put a bit of space in there. Okay. And we might make it a bit bigger, say 18. And then what you would typically do is group that by using tram lines. And let's just go back to a finished example on this page. And you can see we've used tram lines to group sales, and then customer feedback is a separate entity. So we've put a tram line in there to stop it being associated. Now, this may seem like overkill for a small data set like our demo donuts shop, but when you start to bring in hundreds or even thousands of lines of data, it can be incredibly powerful and useful to have clear labels on the left hand side and a clear structure that enables you to scan down a list, particularly when it's hierarchical, and very quickly find where you need to be within the table, then move one click along, scan down, find the data set within that set, and so on. So you can very quickly make large amounts of data accessible and very easily readable as well. And I will often use this technique, these blink charts and these blink tables mixed together in a dashboard. So if we need to present numerical data on a dashboard, this is the approach I'll use. Occasionally I'll use color, but only when it actually conveys extra information. We don't do that just to make it pretty. We only use it where it adds value and understanding, because the more things you put on a chart or a table, the harder it becomes to understand. Okay, so that's the introduction to Blink tables, In the next session, I'll be talking about Blink charts. So we'll be applying these same principles and techniques, but to graphs and charts.